If I'm doing anything, I need to do it to the fullest. So it started as I was a broker, an agent, and soon after, I think about 5, 7 years in, I did my chartered real estate. Like I got my chartered real estate license to be able to operate and manage other brokers. I think, and this will apply, as you're saying, to any potential situation or anything. But the looking for the opportunity has to stay the priority of the time that you're dedicating to whatever it is. If it's investing, if it's working on your business, if you know you can and should, you have to do it. And that's that little voice for me that says, "Don't keep this to yourself. You've achieved a certain level of success. You got to help others with this." So the advice is don't wait. Don't think there's nothing. First, do the research. Find yourself someone that can help you just to put together an action plan and say, look, this is all the inventory that's out there. Let's look at a few properties through the system. What's available is look at how many options we have, and then start the process of putting your home on the market. And
Hello, and welcome to this episode of the Real Estate Investors Club podcast. I'm here today with Etienne Mellor, who I've actually had the pleasure of meeting a few times. Etienne is the founder and CEO of Mellor Group Real Estate Brokerages, which is Royal LePage. They now have 5 addresses and manage over 200 affiliated brokers. So Etienne, can you just tell me, how did you get to be where you are? How did you get to do this?
it was all planned from the get-go. No, not at all. I never even thought of a career or of becoming a real estate broker. My grandmother, my father's mother, was a real estate agent, and they used to be called agents at the time. This is a long, long time ago. Even as a child, I didn't even know. But one day, I'm in my early 20s, and I'm in the furniture business. I'm selling furniture, retail level. And my dad calls me, and because I was having conversations with him about what should I do, what's my future. I kind of reached a plateau in that field, and I needed a bigger challenge, something. So he says, you could sell airplanes, engines. I was always into the sales part, and he comes from big business experience. So he used to work for ABB Canada, which is a big multinational company. So he says, there's many things that you could sell. But then he says, one day he calls me, I'm at work. He says, there's 2 seats left at the Collège de l'Immobilier. You want to do the course with me? Because he was always interested in real estate because of his mother. So I said, yeah, sure. But I didn't even know what it was, or I didn't know what I was getting into. Let me put it that way. So that's how it all started. I was 24 years old.
Nice. And so then tell me what happened after, because so now you've got your broker's license, you're 24 years old, but today Etienne is sitting at the top of, a 5 agency empire. So how do we get from, young kid with the broker's license to there?
Well, anything I do is all or nothing. I have this this extremist kind of personality. If I'm doing anything, I need to do it to the fullest. So it started as I was a broker, an agent, and soon after, I think about 5, 7 years in, I did my chartered real estate. Like I got my chartered real estate license to be able to operate and manage other brokers, and it went from that to just wanting my own agencies, and that's how it became what it is today. We have big expansion plans, big projects in the works that I can't really talk about right now, but that's soon. In a few more weeks, I'll be able to share with everybody. But anything that touches on real estate for me is a natural progression of where I want to go, where we're going. So new construction, property management, the mortgage, the financing side of things. Everything really that you can think of is intertwined with buying or selling or being in real estate. Mm-hmm. We have want a part of it.
Yes, it's for our listeners, Etienne it's actually, quite impressive, the empire that he's built. But I'm curious, so, through these various different transitions, like, you make it sound very easy, and I think you're glossing over things, but those are not easy steps to take, right? Like from being a broker and like basically owning your own, being a solopreneur, I guess is what they call it, to then scaling that into owning one agency and then multiple agencies. Like, what was that like for you, and how did you manage to do it? Like, are there some special mindset things? Like, what's the secret?
Well, I think it's like buying or starting in investing in real estate and buying one unit to realizing that. Anyways, was my realization. The bigger I got, the bigger I get, the better it is. Really, in the end, I think there's more stability in size than in smaller one units. If I compare to investing in real estate, but where I got the knowledge is through just reading and I read a lot, as you know. I think that might also be why and how we connected. I don't remember now, but the reading of books about other people, what they've done, businesses primarily. I like to read biographies of business owners or people that started great big businesses, the Bezos, the Jeffs, the Steve Jobs, the Howard Schultz, the Phil Knight of Nike. I really enjoy that, and to see how and what took place or what it took from them. And then I kind of saw my personality myself with the obsessive kind of stuff that I do, and the determination, the discipline that's required. And it led to where I am today. I really enjoy what I do. You have to, because it's more hard times and challenges than anything else. But I like to grow and develop my skills spiritually, financially. My family, I have 4 boys, or soon to have 4 boys, I should say. I don't want to jinx it. I like to grow everything, my knowledge and my business and everything else. So that's how
that gives me like a couple of different questions. So how do you curate your reading list? I mean, how do you pick? I know, like, I'm always looking for new books to read. What's your method in terms of finding like what to grab onto next?
Well, it's becoming more challenging the more you read, but one thing is just if I have a problem or something that I'm encountering that I don't seem to be able to find an answer on how to solve it, I will tend to look for those books that talk about the whatever I'm trying to pick. That's beside the biographies. Biographies, I'll pick anyone that I fall upon. If I'm listening to something and there's someone that I find interesting, I'm going to go see if they have a book. And biographies, I will pretty much read any biography of anybody, because there's so much that I get from those biographies. So that's pretty much how I go about it.
And then as far as integrating that information, I know you mentioned discipline. How do you go from reading a particular solution and implementing it, or reading a particular story and then pulling the information and then being like, okay, I'm going to now change what I do to whatever goal?
That's a good question, because it's easy. It's hard to do. It's hard to, it's scary. That's why it's hard to just go and get, change something that you think and believe that is the right way of doing it, and then applying a completely different approach to it. But usually when I get to that point, it's because I really, I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't solve it, and I'm still having the same results. So it's easier to take that leap. And the more you do it, the more you build confidence. And why not try different things? And yes, many times I fail a lot, but some things will stick, and then when they stick, they end up being pretty good. So
taking you up to the next level.
Yes. Yeah. It's the only way.
Yeah. Let me ask you another question. So I guess in your role as the director of the agency and somebody who's building a business with really like a lot of brokers working under your banner now, I imagine find yourself often in a kind of a coaching role where you help brokers to succeed, and perhaps you see 2 or 3 things that people make, and like coaching brokers and coaching investors and the fact of getting better at what you do. I think there's a universal process there, right? Like there's the specific thing you're working on, and then there's the process of success. So can you give us maybe 2 or 3 of your tips or things that you see mistakes you see people make?
I think, and this will apply, as you're saying, to any potential situation or anything, but the looking for the opportunity has to stay the priority of your the time that you're dedicating to whatever it is, if it's investing, if it's working on your business. 80%, I have this approach is that 80% of my energy towards the project or my job or my business or my investing will be on the growth or finding new opportunity. Meaning, if I'm a real estate broker, meeting new people, 80% of my day will be dedicated to that. 20% only will be on the administrative or the customer service side of things, which, if you stop and think about what I just said right now, we do not do that. Most of us, and I included before, was the complete opposite, if not 100% on the customer service side of things. Or if you're an investor, you find that property and you overanalyze the hell out of it instead of focusing on finding more opportunities. Because if you have more opportunities, if you spend more time looking at just get me the opportunities, even if I don't have all the information about them, it's going to be clearer, and you're going to have better opportunity. You're going to fall upon if you have 8-10 properties that could be versus you got 1 or 2 and you're trying to make sense of that 1 or 2. So that's the biggest problem I see any business, any salesperson, anybody do, is that we when we find one opportunity, or if we have one, we stop looking for other ones, and we start trying to just analyze or spend too much time on the admin or the customer service side of things.
Oh, I think that's great advice.
It's a hard one, though.
It's a hard one. Yeah, it's a hard one. Do you have another tip, or should I lead you in another direction?
Well, I got so many, but I guess I'll let you go down the road that you want to go.
Well, I mean, Etienne, I don't know if you realize this, but about 6 months ago or 8 months ago, we had a meeting in your office, and you said something that really stuck with me, and that I still kind of hear your voice in my head sometimes.
That must be annoying.
Yeah, no, it's a bit sobering. So you said, I think that people like to be busy. And very often they, can get themselves into the habit of doing and not necessarily doing the right thing. So can you elaborate on that a little bit? Because that really impacted me when you said it.
Well, it goes back to a bit what I was saying before, is that, I could and was busy just servicing, just going over emails, just organizing things. But those were the wrong things. I call them growth activities, whatever it is that's going to actually get you to grow or give you more opportunities, or if you're in sales, is meeting new people, putting yourself in front of more people, whatever those things are, I call them growth activities. And you want to prioritize that, is what I go back to. But it's very easy to just get sidetracked with the customer service, the admin, the research, the organizing, the creating the lists, the trying to systematize this or that. And it's that's what I mean by we because the feeling of being busy at the end of the day is enough for most to just feel like, well, I didn't get the result, but hey, I'm tired, I worked hard all day, and everything's it's moving along. But is it really, if you're not focusing on those, what I call the growth activities, the passive stuff? I call the admin, the passive activity. Those things, you do them, you don't do them. Yes, there could be repercussions, but it's not helping your top line of your whatever it is. And I'm trying to combine business, investing, like the revenues is what we're trying to, for pretty much everybody here, trying to grow. So we got to prioritize what are the activities that are helping that top line grow, and prioritize that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's where you want to be busy with those things and feel at the end of the day, well, I was really busy, but you were busy with the proper. If anybody needs help with that, please reach out. Like, it's really specific about the industry, the business, but you can just think 2 seconds. What's the thing, the most important, that's going to get me to grow that line? And if it's not that, I'm not doing it.
That's great. It's great advice. Now, every time I'm busy, Etienne, I swear I hear in your head, and I find myself doing those little admin things, like organizing my paper clips or something. And I'm like, yeah, no, but I'm just being busy. I'm just crossing things off the list, but they're not actually taking me anywhere. You
know what mine is? And I don't know why I got this issue with it. It's the quarantine box, the spam box, the email. I gotta go into that thing and clean it out. I don't know why. I like every time I go in and I start deleting. I'm like, why am I doing this? I can let that thing go to 5 billion. Who cares? But I feel the need to just delete. But look at how much wasted time that is when you think of it. Even my emails, generally speaking, I now have someone that goes through them to just flag the ones that she believes that I should pay attention to. Now, I can hear people thinking and saying to themselves, well, that's crazy. What if a client writes it? And yes, I know they do. And some of them, they don't get answered, or there's gonna be a few that are not gonna be perfect. But it saves me hours a day if you think of it. Well, with the quantity that I get, but for most people, I'm sure it's still. There was a study, Terrie, that I read from Harvard Business that most employees spend six hours something per day just in their inbox. Think of it. It's
I'm
insane.
not surprised. I'm not surprised.
But how is that? I mean, for the vast majority of those emails, if you're like me, I mean, I get tons of email. It's all garbage, and or I'm CC'd or BCC'd on 17 other emails that with 17 pages each that I sometimes start reading, and I'm like, this got nothing to do with me. Like, I don't need this information. You know what I mean? So that's a few examples right there of being busy, but really not productive at all.
Okay. So Etienne, I want to go somewhere else and pick up on something else that happened in a conversation that we had in your office a little while back. So you're very ambitious, and I remember you saying to me, I want to influence real estate in Quebec.
Yeah.
And my question is, what do you want to do?
Yeah,
Like,
now I've changed it to any business, small, medium businesses in the world. Why keep it to just real estate? But sorry, I interrupted you.
yeah, no, but so tell me, what is your grain of salt that you want to put in the mix? What is it? Yeah, I understand you want the ambition, you want to have the influence, but what is the impact you want to have?
Well, you get to a certain point in your life. I think for me, it's okay. I've taken care of my personal needs very well, and now it's this feeling of hey, I wish someone would have reached out to me or offered me that kind of help. Which that's how I learned, and that's why it's through reading a book of someone that it helped me change certain things that I thought about business, or just generally speaking, it influenced where I'm at today, and I want to do the same. Like, if you know you can and should, you have to do it, and that's that little voice for me that says, "Don't keep this to yourself. You've achieved a certain level of success. You got to help others with this." And for me, in real estate, more specifically, brokers are self-employed. They're small businesses, really, is what it is. So we're doing the same thing. I have to share this with whoever I can. They take it, they don't take it, they apply it, they don't apply it. It's my duty and obligation to share, and that's why that's where it comes from. But that voice, I mean, we know that voice. We have to listen
What's
to
the
it.
message, Etienne? That's what I want you to tell me. Like, I know you have this wealth of experience, right? But like, if you say, okay, I want to have an impact, or I want to like gift something to people, because I think you're absolutely right. I think that at a certain point, once you meet your own needs, right, be it, materially, emotionally, then it becomes about looking outward and saying, okay, how can I influence the world in a positive way? But so what is that message for you?
The message to who? To
Yeah,
the
to like,
recipient?
what is it? What's your contribution? What do you
Uh,
want to give through your influence?
well, I want to help them change their situation. I want to help them. I want people to change a lot of how they were programmed from a young age, as to think about a lot of the different things that for me were the wrong things. I was focusing on the wrong things. I had the wrong way of looking at home ownership is a good one. I own a house, and I keep saying I have to sell this thing and go rent. Why am I holding on to this big ass? Oops, sorry. You gotta delete this.
No.
But why am I paying? Because I thought that it was an investment. It's not an investment. I'm wasting money. Wasting. I should take all of this. I could live in a house like I have and not own it, and I would be in a better position, or it could help me with my other goals and objectives of investing in my businesses and or in real estate. Why am I doing this? And so small things like that. There's many things like that I just grew up with thinking this is the way you do it. And so I want to try to influence or share what I think and strongly believe in things that I've done that have changed my life completely. Like not that long ago, Terrie, I don't know if I ever told you this, but I 36 years old. I'm 45, but at 36, I decided to get divorced, separate. I had two small kids. That was a big hard decision. But it's like as if I restarted my whole life not that long ago. And if you knew where I was just not that long and where I am today, but it's such a thing that for most they would think this is impossible, but I did it. And I'm not any better than anybody else. I'm not more intelligent or it's just having that right information or information that's going to facilitate the achievement of whatever the goals are. So that's what I want to share as much as possible with those that want. And I've been doing it, and it's it's a fantastic feeling. I don't think there's anything better than that feeling.
Yeah, Etienne, I think you're so spot on, because like as we I guess those of us, like, we come to a certain point in our career and then we think, like, what can I do that will help other people on my path? And I think that this unpicking of those assumptions that we somehow grow up with that really don't serve us at all, I mean, that's, first of all, it's a lifetime enterprise. And secondly, if you look at every single one of those little things that you've unpicked and you look at, I unpicked this and poof, my life changed for the better in a huge way. And then I did the next one and poof, and the next one and poof. And it's like every time you find one of those things, like the ROI on that is just crazy. So yeah, I think you're right.
And again, I think it's our obligation to be visible, to be heard. And again, I'm not forcing this on anybody. I'm just saying, hey, whoever wants to, this is what I have to say about it. And I think if more people did that, and now through social media, it's a great way of and podcasts, and it's a great way of reaching. And so we cannot stay in our comfort zone and say, well, I'm not going to do that because it makes me feel uncomfortable. No, I have to do this because I believe in it. And
yeah, and I guess for our listeners, so Etienne and his colleague Jeff have this very ambitious YouTube project where they actually are live every single day. What's your YouTube channel?
That's a good question. We're not just on YouTube, though. We are on every platform you can think of: TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I guess it's my name. I'm not sure. It's Etienne Mellor. If you Google ETIENNEMELLOR dot whatever, or just that, you're gonna see all the different accounts that we have, and we're live every day, 7 days a week.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I can't believe. I was on Etienne's show not long ago, and when he and his partner told me that they were going live every single day, I was like, "Are you guys nuts? This is so much work." And Etienne was like, 10x. I'm like, "Okay, Etienne, 10x. Like, it's gonna work for sure."
Well, when you think of it, I mean, can you have too much of it? Like, do we have you drive down any street, you see Starbucks, you see McDonald's, you see Couche-Tard, you see all these companies. Tim Hortons, there's one every 5 inch. So it's the same with your brand, your visibility. You need to be seen, you need to be heard, and if you have something to say, well, why not? And I got a lot of things to say, so I can go on 7 days a week.
Well, we'll drop the links in the show notes. You'll provide them for us. Yes. And so just if we, by we're getting, to the last third of our interview. And so I wanted to just let our listeners really share or gain advantage from the information that you have. So, as the CEO of 5 real estate brokerages, I mean, you must, through the data internally that you have, the volume of transactions, just your sense of the market at the moment. I think a lot of us are, asking ourselves questions. We're trying to predict which way the wind is going to blow. What do you see, and what advice might you give to people who are still trying to invest in these uncertain moments?
Yeah, I think it's a great time right now. The number of multiple offers has dropped drastically over the last few weeks, and I think as we go towards the middle of the summer, we're gonna be back to one offer, and the prices are maintaining. Though I don't see, because this is something I want to clarify from my perspective. I'm not seeing any price drops. There was an article in the Gazette, I forget who wrote it, I don't know if it was an opinion or, but they were saying that the prices are going to drop. I don't believe that the prices are going to drop. It's just the multiple offers and the overbidding is gonna stop, or has already started in many different parts of the greater Montreal. The volume is the same compared to last year. The number of transaction is down by about 10% year to date. So nothing drastic, no price dropping. The price dropping stuff, in my opinion, will be more Toronto, Vancouver, other big cities in Canada, but not Montreal. The numbers are still better than they were in 2018 and 2019, which were fantastic years. Like 2020 and 2021 were just winning the lottery years. But if we compare this year to 2019 and 18, we're still over those years. So no panic. Everything. I think it's an opportunity in the sense that you're not going to be bidding with 1,700 other people, and you're going to have still a stable, good vendors market, but without those extreme number of multiple offers.
Mm-hmm. And so if I'm a seller right now and I need to get out of my single family home, for example, because I think there's like a lot of people, I know I myself included, 2 years ago, I had a project. I started looking, okay, we're going to sell the house. We're going to like move up. And now as I've watched the price differential go, I think a lot of people don't want to sell because they're afraid that they're not going to be able to find that property to move into. What when I need to sell now, what advice should I even put my home on the market now?
That's a question I've gotten quite a few times in the last 2 years, and I always go back to what's the need and why would you sell? If it's a question of making money, then no, don't sell, and it's probably not the best time unless you fell upon a fantastic opportunity. But if there's a need because your family's growing, or you need to get closer to a school, a university, a work, you will find houses. You will not lose, and it's not going to be that hard of a process to go through, with the right support, the right person, of course, as your broker. Or but it's not if it's just I want to sell because I want to take advantage of the market. Well, you got to buy also, which I don't know. I wouldn't sell just thinking, oh, I'm gonna liquidate, unless you go into a rental. Maybe that's an option.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any specific advice for someone who finds themselves in the position to put their property on the market now and is maybe nervous about?
There's enough. The advice, well, not advice, maybe not in the sense of, but I want to give you some statistics. If you look at the inventory level, even though we talk about there's low inventory, you still have 4,000 some listings. Last time I checked, I believe it was a month, 2 months ago. I forget the area, but the comparison would be from 4, and we were at the 3,500. So it's not as if there's, when brokers or articles or newspapers or the media says there's no inventory, it's not there's no inventory. There's just less than there used to be, which puts a bit of pressure on the buying. If you absolutely want a specific area, then maybe that's going to be tricky. If you're saying I want between these two streets, well, that could be challenging. But if you're, I don't mind between NDG, Côte Saint-Luc, like west of the Carrie, Ville Saint-Pierre, like there's enough to find, and you shouldn't worry about finding a place. So the advice is don't wait. Don't think there's nothing. First, do the research. Find yourself someone that can help you just to put together an action plan and say, look, this is all the inventory that's out there. Let's look at a few properties through the system. What's available? Look at how many options we have, and then start the process of putting your home on the market and getting the ball going. But I think it's again, like the media always do. Terrie, sorry, I'm cutting you off. They always over exaggerate pretty much everything just to be more sensational, just to to get the views. And
yeah, no, I mean, we definitely see that in, data around la crise du logement. Like, I think we had the opportunity to talk about this a little bit in our interview before, but that, like, basically there's a 4% vacancy rate in Montreal right now. So there's no crise de logement specifically. There's a problem with affordable housing, but there's enough rental stock on the market. It's just that it's not correctly priced for the people who need it. But that's another topic. Maybe just as a last question. So I know, like, most of the brokers that you work with probably do single family home transactions, but do you have any kind of insight or window onto what's going on in the investment market? Because, for example, in investments, with the calculations that we do, the interest rates really make a huge difference in terms of the profitability of buildings. And so, like, I know for us in our community, like, we're now facing this situation where, like, stuff that made sense at 3% interest at 4.5% doesn't make sense anymore. So what do you see? And would you have any advice for investors trying to?
I think that the sellers, though, are going to have to adjust also. I think there's a lot of sellers that are just not realistic at all. So the numbers don't make sense based on what they want. But again, if there's a shortage, if there's not as many people jumping in wanting or bidding or making offers, the sellers will have to be more realistic. And we see it on the residential side. We're going to for sure see it on the multi-family side. As the rates go up, people will be more scared to go into the investing and into the buying because the rates are higher. It's again it's all the perception, because there's not that high. Like, again, if you compare it to the low rates of last year and the year before, which were at zero, pretty much technically speaking, it was flat, and now we're at 3. I have a mortgage cabinet, and I was talking to one of my commercial mortgage brokers, who I will have on the show today, on my show, Carlos Lefebvre, and it's still in the. I don't think that it's going to affect again that much. I think it affects those that think that they're going to pay the price that's listed, or the price that's being asked. But these things are negotiable. You just have to know your numbers very well, which I would say is one of the biggest challenge or problems with most buyers, is they don't understand the numbers correctly. Mm-hmm. For the savvy investors, yes, but for those that are entering, or they're in their beginning stages of investing, understanding what each of these numbers mean is critical.
Yeah. So one book a day.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's through the doing of buying these properties and that you gain the experience. You of all people would I'm sure agree with this, as by you do a lot. That's how you become better at it. You can read all kinds of books too pertaining to investing and managing and all that. If you don't do it ever, you're still gonna have the maybe the wrong thinking on how it's going to actually take place.
Yeah, no, and Etienne, I think you'll probably agree with me on this. Is you learn way more from the times that you end up in hot water than when things go smoothly. So
that's why the hair's gone, and that's why there's so much gray. It's through these forced, stressful events that you find a solution.
Yeah, exactly. So Etienne, we're just about out of time. I want to thank you so much for taking this time to chat with me today. It was, as always, a pleasure, insightful.
Thank you. You're so professional in your way of running your show. I really enjoyed it.
And so if people want to reach out to you, they want to connect with you, what's the best way to do that?
We're going to give you, I guess we're going to send you all the links. We're going to have all the info down, but just my name, Google my name, Etienne Mellor, or Mellor Group. Anything that has Mellor in it, and we have a bunch of our contact info everywhere.
Okay, well, Etienne, thanks so much. And
thank you.
Catch you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.